Welcome back to Builds Not Projects. In today's episode on the Odyssey build, we're going to be finishing up a whole bunch of miscellaneous things and getting it out for the first test drive with the new rear suspension. So now that the gas tank's all done, went and filled it up with water to leak test it. Everything looks good, no leaks. It holds 3.5 gallons, just a little over 3.5 gallons. So it'll be really nice for a little bit of range. Well, there must have been a little bit of gas left in there. I tried rinsing it out with water real good, but guess I didn't get it all out. Didn't explode, but good little fire. Alright, so some good progress is being made. Gas tank's in, everything's all mounted up, fuel lines ran, got a couple little filters in there, just in case there's little pieces of metal and stuff left over. Moved on, chopped these little tubes out that were no longer needed, and then installed the limiter straps. Lower it down, and we got bump stops installed, so we'll lower it down and show that. So we don't have ride height or anything really adjusted all that great yet, but we got these bump stops in. I have the springs on the lightest compression possible so we can see how they contact, which they kind of just barely make contact right now because I don't weigh a whole heck of a lot, but they should do the trick. But yeah, it's definitely skipping that chain.
Yeah,
you just have to get tightened up.
It doesn't look like you smacked it on anything. It was just skipping.
Yeah.
You're smacking it on the bottom side of that plate.
Oh.
So
yeah, it's skipping that front driver, I think.
Yeah, I was just worried it was whacking against the oil pan.
Yeah. But I think it's all right. There, just I can't shift up because that linkage runs into the
into that bar.
It feels better. It's way smoother, way more stable.
Yeah, it looked good.
Try to drive it again.
All right. Yeah, I saw that.
I broke a tie rod, and then all I could do was go in circles. It's this side.
Oh. Well, good thing we were going to redo the steering anyways.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be towing that back.
So this thing during the rip, it definitely is way better to drive. It's nice having suspension that actually works. It's a lot wider, way more stable. As you could hear in the videos, the chains are skipping teeth. This one here really needs tightened up, but I'm going to end up doing a little bit bigger sprocket back here, which should take up some of that slack. This one and the other one both have adjusters on them, so I can adjust them up. Going to have to build an adjuster for this one as well, but we'll get that other sprocket changed out. I got to order one. And then the front suspension, ended up breaking that pretty good. Broke the steering. We'll be able to show that a little better once we take that plate off, but basically broke where the little bearing pivot was. It broke the tab right off the pivot, so we'll get that all fixed up and rip it some more. So we got the floor pan off, and we can kind of show what's broken. Basically, it just broke the welds right off the bearing race, which I kind of had expected just because it makes it so brittle because they're such a hard material. This steering design was never great to begin with, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this column off of all of its mounting points, and then we're going to move it up and probably back, so that way we can just mount directly to the pivot on the bottom. May end up having to shorten up the column, not too sure yet, but we'll just start chopping and see where we end up. So after taking all the old steering pivots and all of that stuff off, kind of looking at it, moved the steering column up and then back a little bit. May end up having to shorten the steering column, but we're going to try it out there first and see. I was able to just take these pivots, the tie rod ends, move them up to the top, I think is going to be the best option. And then I can just extend these out for now until I can get some other ones built. So we'll get started. Alright, so since I don't have an angle finder or a little degree cube or any of the fancy stuff to do this, I'm going to just use a little carpenter square. And we're going to be measuring camber because this side definitely has a lot more negative camber than the other side. So we're going to be redoing these upper tabs before we build the rest of the steering components. That way they're even side to side, and so then that way we don't have to rebuild the tie rods later. So the steering column stuff's all welded in now. Toe is kind of halfway, just eyeball adjusted. It's going to be fairly close. The little floor pan thing, kind of just slapped it in there quick because we want to give it a good little test drive and kind of see how it goes before we end up building a whole new floor pan setup. So we're going to try to get chains tightened up and get a couple other little things done quick and then give it a good little test rip. So last time I just drove it and it wouldn't come out of first. The reason why is it was hitting the new jack shaft cross member there that I had built. So I'm going to just adjust this up to hopefully bring this pivot point up just enough to where it'll be able to shift up and down still and not run into anything. So as you could tell by the video, it's not running quite right for some reason. Not too sure why yet. Could be carb issue. Could be from last time when we got it all muddy and pressure washed it off. Maybe something got wet that wasn't supposed to, or a little extra water or something maybe in the air filter or something weird. So we'll kind of look around and see if we find anything. If not, we might just try running a little more and see what happens.
Give another send. Misfire?
Yeah, one of them is missing.
Check the plugs.
Yeah.
All right.
Upon some further inspection, figured I'd pull the air box off and kind of see what the inside of the carbs looked like. That's kind of an issue. Looks like it's got a stuck float or a leaking needle and seat. There's something goofy there. I'll pop the bowl off quick and see what I find. So that carb, got it back together now. Airbox is back on. The float adjustment was way off. I don't know how it ever worked before, but somehow it managed to work just fine until now. So I adjusted that up, back together. We're going to try it again. So it's still missing, not quite as bad. Either the float level is a little low, or there's a piece of junk in one of the carbs, or maybe even if that spark plug could be fouled out too from running so rich. We'll be calling this good for this video. We'll be getting this thing running good in the next one and getting a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff done. So we'll see you in the next one. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you already haven't.